Our first guest tonight is a talented actor you know from his work in the Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean franchises, as well as films such as Troy, Kingdom of Heaven, and Gran Turismo. His new adventure series, Orlando Bloom to the Edge, is streaming now on Peacock. Please welcome to the show, Orlando Bloom, everybody.
They're all dark, but beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautiful
Yeah, they're
people.
beautiful.
Beautiful,
Can't
barely
see
lit
you quite,
people.
But like, yeah, exactly.
What a thrill to have first time here.
Man, I can't believe that.
This is very exciting. And let me say about this show, this is about pushing yourself.
Yes, it is.
And you really, well, you did go for it. This is not a falsely named show.
Yeah, I definitely went to the edge.
Skydiving, free diving, so that's underwater.
Yeah.
And then rock climbing. Which one were you most terrified about going into it?
I think free diving going into it, partly because I love the water, I love the ocean.
Yeah.
And I was just afraid I might not come back up.
Somebody just cheered the ocean. Are you
like that.
from there?
Kind of. I do love the ocean, and I do love. You're a surfer? Maybe
so
you're a
you
surfer?
worried that it would ruin the ocean for you? Like, what was the fear?
Not coming back up.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Right. And then you'd be like, well, as you were
Like
not
I'd
coming
run out
back
of
up, you're
breath.
like, this used to be my favorite place.
They talk about deep water blackouts.
Yeah, that does.
And I used to do this pool training with Laird Hamilton some years ago, and I had a few of those. They used to call me Samba Boy because I'd really push the edge in the pool.
Yeah.
Basically, you do these breath holds and swim with weights underwater, and then do it on an exhale. So you're learning to sort of build up CO2 in your body, which is something that I needed to learn to do anyway. And to manage the lack of CO2, which is the CO2, the carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the challenging part. So if that happens deep underwater, then you black out, and then I just had lots of thoughts and fears of that.
I just think it's better not to do it. How long could you hold your breath right now?
Like I was getting up to like 5 minutes or so.
Go. Really, 5 minutes?
I mean, yeah, it's something that you can train. I think a lot of people, you'd be surprised at how long you can hold your breath for if you train to do it. That was one of the things that I had to do prior to the show, because actually for dive, I only really had 4 days to get to what was 102 meters. Meters would be crazy. Yeah. 37 meters, 102 feet, which is like, I guess 1/10 of the Chrysler Building, or like 10 floors. I don't know how to put it into your head.
But then to go to the rock climbing, you did what? 400 meters up?
Yes.
Free climbing.
Free climbing. No.
Okay.
No. I was definitely. Actually, that was the most challenging part. Was like figuring out the knots and the.
Yeah, of course.
I had this. I had Mo Beck, who's this amazing climber. Was like, I think her one concern for me was like, was I going to tie myself in correctly? And then. The other really challenging part is with climbing is you have like a lifeline with a buddy, and she was my buddy.
Gotcha.
And she's an amazing athlete, but I was more worried about dropping her than me falling, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. That would be bad for your career.
That would have worked well, yeah.
How'd your show go?
Great for the TV,
that person dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you? It did seem like your guides and the people that are teaching you to do this, they were incredible, and they're like so magnetic on screen. But I would imagine you probably have a closeness with them that you don't say with co-stars on a movie, because there was a life.
My life was in their hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, Luke Aikens is the guy in the wingsuit episode who he famously jumped from 25,000 feet without a parachute.
Okay. That was an accident?
He landed in a net.
How did he really?
Yes.
From 25,000 feet, he jumped into a net.
Yeah. So he had me on.
And like they let him like have a driver's license?
He's remarkable, but he had basically a series of check marks for me to get to. So basically, after 25 jumps, you get your A license, and on my 26th jump, I jumped a wingsuit, and that may be the first time that's ever happened, because normally you have to jump 200 jumps.
Yeah.
You have to do 200 skydives before you can jump a wingsuit. Wingsuiting it can go south very fast, because what happens is. The danger with skydiving is that if you're in a tumble, and all you really have to do is pull your chute, but if you're in a tumble upside down, then when you pull the chute, it might come out,
Sure.
You want to be in this beautiful arch position when you pull your chute. When you're in a wingsuit, you're like on a knife edge, because any slight movement in the wrong way will send you into one of those tumbles, and then it all gets dark really quickly. So
when you're on that knife's edge, and we're going to show a clip of this when we come back from the commercial, when you pull,
that's
is there
a good position. We should go wingsuiting.
Oh, look at this. I told you I was a natural. But did you, so where is the pulling a moment where you could actually get off?
That's where it would freak out, right?
Okay.
So in a wingsuit, your arms are here as you had them.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you have to bring both of them back so that your body doesn't kind of because if you dropped one wing, you'd go like that.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So you have to bring them both back at the same time whilst keeping your legs because even any slight movement of your feet and then suddenly you're spinning too, right? So it's a whole, and your body has to be arched. So then you go back and then you reach and you pull that one. And it's not rocket science, but when you're in the air and falling very fast and you've had like a week to do it, it's really challenging.
Yeah.
Mentally really scary.
So was there ever a moment that you could actually, because I imagine the people who do this multiple times, they find, God knows why, some enjoyment in it. But could you like take yourself out of your head of like, at some point I got to put both arms back at the same time? Could you actually enjoy what you were seeing?
Yeah, a couple of times. A couple of times out of the times I was doing it. I think, yeah, no, absolutely. I loved it, every moment of it, even the terrifying pieces. It was a great trust exercise in like learning to become capable and learning to like. I love
you did have some family. This is in your blood.
Yeah, somewhat.
This is your uncle.
That is my uncle.
And this is your uncle has how many jumps does he have?
Well, he was 79 there. And he is now 80, and he's jumped his 800th jump.
800th jump.
He was in the paras in the British military. He was in the paras in the British military.
Gotcha.
So
his early jumps were crazy
though as well.
Yeah.
He had some crazy ones because
back
then.
He must think when you're like, yeah, I'm doing these.
He was like, it was amazing they even opened those parachutes back then.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Oh, it's going to open.
Also, like we were parachuting into places they were not that happy to see us.
Yes.
Which makes it. All right, when we come back, we are going to show this incredible clip, and I have a lot more to ask you guys. That's Orlando Bloom. We'll be right back.
That's a good parachute for Orlando. Good parachute for Orlando.
Woo!
We're back with Orlando Bloom. That was a clip from Orlando Bloom to the Edge. I will admit, at the end, I did kind of want you to just float into one of the parked cars. Not like,
yeah, that happened.
Not like badly, but just like bonk.
You should have picked the other clip. There's one. There's another clip where I just like eat it, and then I get up and I go, "Did you think did I have you worried then?" Because I literally just was. I went into the wind. So when you come in for a landing, you have to go against. You have to go in. Sorry, the wind's coming towards you. See? No wonder I was going with the wind.
Maybe don't teach people how to do it, Orlando.
It was really simple. You just go like this. I was going with the wind, and so I anyway.
That would be the most terrifying thing if you were with your guide in the airplane and they're like, remember, go into the wind, and right into the jump. It's like, no, wait, I'm the opposite.
Yeah. There is a moment in the show where I go, so it's left foot forward, right? She goes, right foot forward. I was like, oh, yeah.
You said while we were watching the clip, and it was what I was going to ask you, but you said, oh, my God, this is giving me PTSD. So when you watch it now, because, again, it's a totally different perspective on what you were seeing at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the scope of it must just be mind-boggling when you see it now.
Yeah, it gets my heart racing every time. I have to say, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. That was the final stunt was sort of, or the final flight was, we went to, I think it was about 5 miles over the ocean and landed on Pismo Beach. So jumping out of a plane over the ocean to fly, he had to, I mean, it wasn't me who was calculating how far it was going to take me, but I didn't want to get anything wrong because landing in the water would have also posed a few interesting challenges. So the whole thing was like a pressure cooker, and I'm amazed I'm still alive, and here I am.
I also am amazed this is a show you chose to do for yourself. This wasn't court appointed, right? Like you made.
Yeah.
Because you broke your early 20s, you broke your back?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and not, is it okay to say that maybe, like, doing a dumb thing?
Well, I mean, no, it wasn't too dumb, but I was trying to...
I think I've read about it. It sounds... Go ahead.
Oh, no, it was pretty dumb. Well, I was trying to help some friends who had an apartment, and they had a landing on the roof terrace. The roof terrace was... they had a roof terrace on the landing below their apartment, so I walked up the steps, went out, looked out, and was like, oh, I'm on the 4th floor. Oh, there it is, just over there to the left. I'll just jump across. And instead, I saw a piece of metal, held onto it, and there was not really anything to hold on. So I fell and landed on a 1st floor balcony with, like, iron railings that they have in London. And an old washing machine. So I got very lucky. But I don't know that it's... I don't know that I'm necessarily a thrill seeker from then. I think I was more just impulsive.
Yeah, that sounds more impulsive than, like, I'm gonna grab...
I'm not like, I'm gonna,
You have 2 children now. Do you see an adventurer's spirit in them yet? I know they're, 13 and 3, so...
Yeah. What? Yeah, 100%. 100%. They're both... I mean, Daisy's, like, feels like she was climbing stairs when she came out. She just is, like, really into it. And Flynn's very artistic and creative, but he's got quite a lot of spirit.
Did you, when you did a show like this with these sort of risk-taking, did you feel differently about it having kids? Or just, not even, like, for your own safety, but, like, one day they're gonna watch this, and when you tell them not to take chances, they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, Dad?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I think part of the show, it's interesting, because I don't think I'm gonna tell them not to take chances. I think I'm gonna tell them to take... I think what I learned, right, is that if after breaking my back and all the accidents I had as a kid, which were definitely impulsive, and some things were in my control, some things weren't, I think that what I learned through the show was that if you actually... we talk about these athletes, you know, Camila Jabbar and as well, who was the freediver, and Will, as sort of like adrenaline junkies, and there's sort of a negative connotation to that, but actually they're like supreme athletes. They're actually people who are... You know, you see a 15-second clip on some kind of social media platform, but those people have studied for, like, years, months out. And they're like... So in a weird way, like, I think for me it was like, okay, I don't need to be impulsive and get into trouble, but how about I learn to do the things that I love and learn and have that feeling of confronting my fear and being capable. And I hope that with the show, in some ways, people kind of go, well, you know, there are what's the fear for you? Obviously, I wouldn't encourage anyone to go and do this stuff, but, like, what's the version of you pushing? Maybe it's like doing stand-up or just public speaking, or, you know, something that pushes you out, because it came up for me with COVID when, you know, that happened, and it was like, I was just like, wait, there's so much fear everywhere. I was like, what am I going to do? And I wanted to do a Blue Zone
It's
show.
funny, I do stand up, and I do think I take the same chances as you. I think we're very similar. Yeah, like, your wingsuit is my stand-up, and I think we're both, like, 2 cool guys who take chances.
By the way, for me, that would be a version, like the abject terror I would have before going out to do that. Would be crazy.
I mean, they must have to, you know, you talk about it, and I think that's a really good point. Like, they're adrenaline junkies, but they must be granular about the safety that goes into these things.
Yeah.
And they must, when you show up and say you want to do a show like this, they must have to clock how seriously you take it, and that must have been... Because at the end, I want to show a clip real quick, because you guys, I mean, it does seem like when you land this thing, you realize exactly how much these people meant to you. Let's take a look real quick.
Dude! Welcome to my world here, man.
I love you, bro.
Oh, cool. Oh, I can't believe what we did. Look out.
Did it! Oh!
Congratulations, bud.
I love you, man.
Yeah, man, good work.
It's a good group.
It's a good group. That's Monica and Jack, who Monica is actually Luke's wife. It's a good group. I got kind of teary there at the end of that. It was. Yeah. I mean, you're putting your life in somebody else's. And actually, when you see if you see the show, which I hope you guys will watch, on my 7th jump. So you talk about protocols or what you need to do. On my 7th jump, so I'd actually just found out that the Queen had died, which was really kind of
from jumping, right?
So it was a weird thing, because there was this conversation about something quite prolific happening, because I'm from the UK. That was a big number. It was a big thing, but probably for people here too. But it was, and then I go up in the plane, and Luke goes, okay, you don't need your radio, nothing. You're good to go for this one. And this is my 7th jump, right? I jump out, I'm coming down, and I pull the chute. I'm under canopy, and I'm like, okay. And then you have what these called toggles, and I pull my right toggle, and I'm like, and it wasn't working. So I look up, and there's like, it's being caught in a line, right? And I'm going, oh, I'm not going to be able to land this. So what do I do? So the protocol is you cut one free. So it's like the chute is behind, that's one, right? So then you go 1, 2, 1 cuts your current chute, which is above your head, free. 2 opens the second one. And I'm like, no, I don't have the radio. I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 1, I'm back in free fall. 2, and it came out, and I was like,
Oh my God.
I get to the ground, and I'm like, was that a test? What is going on? And then I get in the back of this truck, and they're like, we got to get the parachute. I'm like, it's over there, it's in the field. I saw it, you know, because I was coming over, I could see it. We go over there, we pick it up, and there's a guy in the middle of the field, and he thought there was going to be a body out there, right? And I'm like, I literally, you know, we were like, no, it was me. He was like, who was it? I was like, it was me, don't worry, we're all good. He goes, no, and Luke explained, we cut it. But it was like, never in my life have I felt more so grateful to be alive. I was like, oh, really? Like, that could have gone south super fast. Now, there is protocols that you follow, and it works. And when you follow the protocol, this will work. I mean, there are 2 chutes for a reason. Obviously, thank God the second chute didn't have a malfunction. But, like, it was, so I think what you'll see, it's funny, actually, because I feel more vulnerable now that the show's out than I felt at all, because it's like, it's sort of like you're seeing it and you go, wait, what? This is, you know, and people are responding, but I'm like, yeah, it's a wild one. It's a wild feeling.
It's funny to think, if you saw a parachute in a field, you would think, oh boy.
Where's the body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think,
Where's the body?
I'm sure there's somewhere else. And that would have been so if you'd have died on the same day as the Queen, it would have been like on page 8.
Nobody would have even noticed, like, the Queen died. And somebody else.
But he was asking for it.
He was asking for it, yeah.
Thanks so much for being here. The
Thanks,
show's
guys.
fantastic. You guys, Orlando Bloom to the Edge is streaming now exclusively on Peacock. We'll be right back with Shooting Galway. Our next guest is a talented actor you know from the Barbie movie and shows such as Sex Education and Masters of the Air. He stars as the 15th Doctor in TV's longest-running sci-fi series, Doctor Who, which premieres on Disney+. May 10th, please welcome to the show, Shooting Galway, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
What an exciting time to be with you. This is a big deal. You're the 15th Doctor.
15th Doctor,
And
yes.
this is something that was a very well-kept secret. Are you good at keeping secrets?
Not at all.
So
No.
how long did you have to keep it? From when you knew you had it to when it was announced?
So I think I got cast February, and it was announced in May.
Okay, so 3
And-
months. How many times do you think you gave it away in those 3 months?
I would say about like 10 or 15 each month.
And how would you give it away? Would people press you, or would you just throw it out to them?
I would willingly give the information.
Okay. So
I
nobody
look-
was pressing you.
Nobody was even
So
pressing
what
me.
kind of people would you tell it to, and how would you go about it?
So I would drink.
Yeah.
I'd be in a bar with my friends, and I drink, and I meet. You know how you do? You meet like your best friend in the bathroom, your new best friend for the night.
Okay, gotcha. So there's a brand new
This is
person.
the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
Okay, got it.
Amazing. By the way, I'm the 15th Doctor. Run off. Don't tell anyone. And then
I
I'd run
will
off.
say, if you heard it in a bar, you wouldn't think that's true. You know what I mean? If you had come up to me and been like, hey, just FYI, I'm the new doctor, I'd be like, okay.
That guy has had a few too
But
many.
this is exciting. I mean, obviously, you've done things, you obviously get recognized, but this is going to be a big moment when this happens. This premieres very soon. You're currently on a subway. This is a big deal in our city, to be on a subway.
Yeah. Thanks. Very cool.
Very cool.
Felt very, very surreal. We actually went to see that just before coming here, and it was like, I thought it was going to be one poster.
Uh-huh.
It was the whole carriage. It felt
Wow.
very cool.
You
very
actually
daunting.
went to see the subway?
How vain.
Did you, like, know where it was going to be, or were you just like...
Yeah, no, they planned.
Okay, got it.
Look at them all. Look at them all. Let's go look at a picture of myself.
Now, wait, I have to ask, when your subway came by, were you sort of like strolling by yourself, hoping people would be like,
Yeah, I made a few loud shouts by the tubes.
like,
People
wait,
saw.
is that me?
That's me. Exactly that.
Coincidence. Here I am just in the subway.
Tune in, May 10th.
And this is, you have family everywhere. You have London, Scotland, Cameroon, Rwanda.
Yes.
And so this is premiering worldwide for the first time, Doctor Who premiering worldwide. And so it must be exciting. Are your family incredibly proud?
Very proud
Okay.
for the first time ever. No, the first time ever. Finally become a doctor. Made it. So it's cool. It's cool that we've got this this partnership with Disney Plus. Thank you, Disney, for streaming us around the world.
Yeah.
So it's all going to be in one place on May the 10th.
That's great. And now, obviously, this is a show that has been on since the 60s in various incarnations. Is this something that you wanted for yourself? Like to be, you know, the Doctor in the Doctor Who series?
Do you know what? Manifestation is real.
It's real.
Manifestation
You can swear
is
to this.
real. I can swear to this.
Okay.
I text my agent one day. I was bored in my house thinking about how to pay my bills next. And I was like, I would love just musing, Kate. And I would like to play a character like Willy Wonka or Doctor Who. And then the next week she was like, Andy Pryor has just called. He's the casting director of Doctor Who. I was in the middle of writing an email to him to ask him to consider you, and he called me being like, can we consider Shooty? And so then I got my audition, and then...
Most people, if they called their agent and said, I want Willy Wonka or Doctor Who, they'd be like, goodbye.
Nice dreaming.
That's like if I call my agent, I'm like, I want to be like Indiana Jones or Han Solo.
Ask and you shall get.
You
Seth.
have had,
Ask
look,
and
you've
you
had a
shall
big
get.
year. You were in a big movie, Barbie.
Just a little one.
Just a little one.
Just a little one.
And very excited. You were, I mean, it was the best, look, it was a great Oscars. Top to bottom, it was a great Oscars. You were at the Oscars.
I was at the Oscars.
And you were also on stage. You got to perform on stage. Just Ken, there you are.
I just
And I gotta be honest, like,
There-
that has gotta be, like, also, like, very nerve-wracking to do, again, a live musical performance at the Oscars. You guys were seamless.
Seamless? I don't know. I think
Okay.
the camera caught all my wrong moves.
Okay, got.
But I was happy to be there. I was very happy to be there, at least.
Did you, how many runs at it did you get for rehearsal? Because, their space just isn't there that long.
No, I think I had about 2 or 3 rehearsals before the main event.
Yeah.
But so Ryan was incredible in the film. Absolutely amazing. The film is amazing, and it was so nice of Ryan to invite us to.
It was great. It was very nice
To have a little
see you all
shindig
together.
with him.
You're friends with one of a real friend of the show over here, Jonathan Groff. Our friend
Hey,
Jonathan Groff. He's going to be
yes.
on the show very soon. And you guys got to work together on Doctor Who.
Yes.
But this is a photo of you somewhere very special.
Very, very special. We went to go see Beyonce.
Wow. In Cardiff, you saw Beyonce in Wales?
Cardiff, of
Wow.
all places. She loves Cardiff.
Yeah,
loves
she's
Wales.
from Cardiff, right?
She's
That's a
from Cardiff.
accent?
Yeah, returning back to her roots.
That's fantastic. And did you, was Jonathan, I would imagine Jonathan's a pretty special person to see a Beyonce show.
He's a very special person in general.
Yeah.
He stars in this next season of Doctor Who, and he is incredible. Such a talented actor. And when we were having like our audition, I guess, together, he told me that he had tickets for Beyonce, and I said, get him the job. Give him the job. I'll be coming
that
with
morning you called your agent and was like, I think I want tickets to like Beyonce.
Yeah, that's what happened. Jonathan,
She's like, this is so crazy. I was just talking to John.
That's how it happened, sir.
Hey, congratulations on everything. It's a very exciting time to be talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, let's shoot a go. Doctor Who premieres May 10th on Disney Plus. We'll be right back with more Late Night.